Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Blurred Podcast, episode 18. As always, we have Green Tuner.
Hello.
Dark Side. Creamcast.
Hey, what's going on?
And myself, the Ed Underground. How you guys doing?
Good.
Doing good, man. It was a little weird intro.
Yeah, why the pause?
Yeah, why the pause?
I noticed something and it caught my attention. That's why I kind of paused.
What was it?
Oh, it said your audio was like out of sync. So mine. So.
Oh, your audio. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering. I'm like,
I thought are we doing like a little bit or something? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, are we missing the joke or what's going on?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah, man. This is, not a typical streaming day, so it kind of got me off a little bit, mentally get into the space, but I'm glad we're here. I'm glad we could knock it out on a Sunday of all days.
Yeah, go figure.
I know. I wonder whose fault is that this time. Dark side. Side. Yeah, it normally is, like the first 15 minutes we just rag on Ed and so forth. Everything is his fault. But nope, this time is dark side, which is quite surprising. Yeah, you gotta change it up. You gotta confuse the body a little bit. So it's all good. But yeah, crazy weekend entertainment this week. Oh, and because I couldn't find any good shoes for sneaker talk. Unfortunately, there's no sneaker talk this week. I know
what
you guys are upset.
Man.
I know.
I know Darkside always looks forward to this.
He does. He always looks forward to it. And I know the week I was gone and we did sneaker talk. I saw the tears in his eyes and how upset he was. But couldn't find. Actually, I do have a pair of sneakers. I think I did talk about them, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. I'll say but I got a lot of sneakers, but unfortunately the sneakers that I want are not in that second. So
You guys, is that why you don't have your shoe store wallpaper on?
Yeah, no, I actually took it off because I decided to give the shoe store a break this week. I'm actually on breaking out for the most part. I think I've had that wallpaper up for 2 weeks now.
Yes.
People think I actually live at a shoe store, so I'm trying to break up the monotony a little bit. And this is my home without any. It's just a boring wall. There's actually nothing back there, which is kind of sad. It's half that I do have plans for these back walls, maybe, but it's like the same wall that I show for like my job. So I don't want to necessarily put anything too crazy up there. I was initially going to put like sneakers everywhere, but I don't want to be like talking to my boss's boss. It's like the CEO of the company and be like, so guys, I want you to take me seriously and give me a pay raise while there's Jordans in the background spinning and anime girls and so forth. And
put the Anaconda poster.
Exactly.
Nicki Minaj up there.
And like an old little Kim poster busting it open.
Everyone had that poster.
I got a good idea. What about like a picture, a father and son picture of me holding you as a child? That'd be great for a background.
So anyways, Ed, no, absolutely not. I am your father. You're always going to be my favorite daughter, and absolutely not. But I plan to do something back there, but I got to think of something a little bit more tasteful than, anime body pillows and so forth. So we'll see what happens.
There's nothing more tasteful than ahiago. Ahiago? How would you say it?
I think that's right.
Ahiago. It's the one where people like girls making like the weird orgasmic faces.
Oh yeah, with the cross eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
That's weird that you know that. But I know that was like kind of like a big thing. I don't know if it's still a big thing. Do people still do that?
I've heard less of it.
Yeah. The Iago or Heiago face.
Oh yeah.
Whatever.
Look, you live long enough in the internet, you get to see all these beautiful trends that are out there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I'm not gonna put that in my background because I don't want my boss to necessarily see that. That'll be a little awkward and weird.
No, they're pretty cool.
I'm sure you'll find
some cat ears and or do the what's it called, the eye patch with the Naruto bandana on.
Yes, I'm sure.
The business meeting.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to a business meeting with contacts, with Sharingan contacts, Naruto jutsus and all that. Yeah, I'm sure.
Do you still have that sword?
No, the funny thing is, it's in my parents' house. Well, I couldn't I guess I could ship it to my house. I mean, it's just a sword. But yeah, my parents have it displayed in their house. And
oh, really?
Yeah, they have actually posted on they have this grand piano at their house, and tucked right beside it is my large 8-foot sword. And my parents, I kind of always wonder, I'm like, y'all know that's an anime sword, but I don't want to embarrass them. But of course, yeah, they have the
Sephiroth sword.
Yeah, but no, it's more from Bleach.
It's Bleach.
Oh, okay.
You went with us, right?
Okay, it says pre-Bankai or
no, it's Bankai.
I forgot what it's called.
Oh, it's Bankai. Yeah.
Zengetsu? Is it?
It's one with
Zengetsu?
Yeah, Zangetsu is what.
Yeah, Zangetsu.
Tessa Zangetsu, whatever. Yeah, remember we went to that comic book convention and I bought the sword.
Oh, you bought it. Okay. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and then he had that small ass sporty car.
I remember yelling Bankai in the street.
The sword from the front all the way to the back seat so it could fit.
Yeah, I think whoever, it had to go in between.
Yeah, I remember
the front seat. That was from a different life, very different life.
That was from a different life.
I had spiky hair. I tried to have spiky hair back in the day with a little visor. Wow, crazy times. But yeah, we got that from that anime convention, and my parents ended up keeping it. I had another sword as well that I actually took with me back when I was back in the army. I took it back with me. I don't know what happened to that sword. I ended up losing that sword. I think someone stole it. So there's probably a sword out there that's either helping out with seppuku. What's it called?
Seppuku.
Yeah, seppuku, or mass murdering in Japan. But somebody has my sword. Or to
hunt down vampires at nightclubs.
And vampires in nightclubs, demon slayers, whatever. It was a badass sword because it had no hilt. It was one of those I don't know what that kind of swords they're called, but it was pretty badass. But yeah, I think someone stole it.
I just imagine your father, somebody breaks into your house, he has the sword and
he pulls out the 8-foot sword. He has to run across the room just to unsheath it.
Yeah. No, I want him to trigger his Bankai. You'd be like,
I want Bankai. No, but you can't say just Bankai. You gotta say Bankai, and then just do it badass. I remember I did take that sword outside, and so we have this bay tree in our front yard.
Were you practicing in your front yard?
I promise you, yes. So I remember when I first got the sword, I literally was practicing with that heavy ass sword, and I was cutting off limbs. And I don't know why I felt like such a badass until it's time to put the sheath back into the sword. Of course, you can't do it like an anime where they just for some reason each person has 8-foot long arms, and I tried to do that with mine, and I failed miserably. I ended up cutting myself. Yeah. Trying to nope, the guy used 2 hands, and I had to put it on the ground, put it back in. It was quite embarrassing. But I used to actually pretend I was Ichigo Kurosaki Ichigo. There we go. I'm gonna say it the right way. Kurosaki
That's
Ichigo.
A conversation starter if there's any. If you just have that giant sword hung on your wall.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I got so many women because of that. They saw me in the front yard. You hear tires.
Oh my goodness, is that Bleach?
Are you a Soul Reaper? Maybe I never thought you'd ask.
Is that Kurosaki Ichigo?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I showed them lots of Bankais. Lots of Bankais.
Car full of girls. Stops midway in the drive, oh my god.
they take off their glasses. Holy shit! Are you Kurosaki Ichigo?
It's Kurosaki Ichigo of Third Squad.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Maybe you want to see my Bankai? I'll take you all back. It's crazy. Good times, man. Good times.
Those were good times.
Yeah. Aren't you guys trying to go to a comic book convention sometime soon?
I want to go. Nobody responded to my
There's
question.
one in December.
It's in December. I don't know. C2E2. Yeah. You're not going, Zion?
I don't know. Well, we'll see. I mean, I'll go if I'm available. I don't know.
December's
a busy time for me.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, C2E2.
Are you going?
I can find some time.
What day is that on?
C2E2. It's from December 10th to the 12th.
Oh.
So Friday to Sunday.
Are you
I
sure?
could possibly go. It sounds like
Yeah.
a weekend.
I'm looking at the website right now, and it says
They pushed it.
oh
Unless
yeah,
they canceled it.
you gotta buy your badges before October 24th.
Because usually it's in like February or
We never
March
buy
or
our
something.
badges. We usually buy it at the gate.
Yeah, we're pretty stupid.
We're pretty lazy.
Oh wow, they're gonna have.
I think I did it right one time, and that's about it.
They're gonna have Hayden Christensen. That's gonna be pretty awesome.
I don't want Hayden. I want the other
Anakin?
guy that played the young Anakin. What's his name?
Yeah.
The one that everyone
Jake
hates.
Lloyd.
The
Jake
kid?
Lloyd. I
Wow.
want Jake Lloyd's autograph.
I want Kidster.
Wow. Why is this Trina Nishimura? Why does she look familiar? I don't know why I'm just looking at like the C2E2 guest.
Oh,
And Hayden Christensen, I think he's the John Cena's gonna be there. You're not gonna see him at all, but he will be there.
yeah. He will be there probably on Saturday for 2 minutes.
Yeah, he'll be like I don't think he's actually gonna show up. I think they're gonna put like a cardboard
Chris
cutout.
Claremont's there, Syed.
Yeah. I met him
Not a fan?
before. Yeah, I met him before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Be cool to see Anakin there. Hayden Christensen.
I just want Frank Miller so I can get my copy of what's it called?
Holy Terror.
Spawn.
Holy Terror signed. Specifically in the part where the guy
He's
is
a big fan.
killing all the Muslims. That's like, please sign this page.
Is he going to be there?
No, he's not.
No, I don't think he goes to guns anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a lot
He
of
looks like
anime.
pure hell.
Who?
What's it called?
McFarlane?
Frank Miller.
Oh.
There's not a lot of big guests. I'm looking at this thing.
Yeah, there's not a lot of
No,
big
it seemed
people
like
coming
it's last minute. They're just grabbing whoever they can.
I mean, we're still coming off of the whole COVID situation. So, I mean, I'm not.
That's what I'm
surprised
saying.
that
I'm not through the moon for this idea. But
I just haven't gone to a Comic Con in a while. That's why.
Yeah, it makes it normal. I guess it makes it a little bit more regular. I guess.
well, we'll see where we're at in December as a society.
They got a lot of
Okay,
voice
that's true.
They got a lot of voice actors in here for like different anime. Like they have like so many people from My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan. That's if you watch. That's
Seems more like an
dub.
ASIN.
Yeah, if you watch dub like a Neanderthal, then yes, you're gonna go there and be like, "Oh, well, my favorite dub actor is there." Like, no one who listens to dub. Jeez, we just had a conversation about this last episode.
Oh, yes,
you may
we
not.
did.
You may, if you are an audio listener and didn't watch us live, you probably don't know what we're talking about because the episode has not been uploaded yet.
The audio episode.
Hopefully, it will be uploaded soon. But we were just talking about how we watched Star Wars Visions and how Darkseid and I could not watch it without it being in sub. Like we cannot watch dub. Like it's no hate to our American English actors and voiceover actors. It's just not the same. Like you just don't capture.
Like I started watching Star Wars Visions too, and I did the same thing. But I had to, for some reason I just couldn't do it any other way. I had to make the text yellow in like large.
No, that works.
Because in the old school animes that I used to watch,
they were yellow.
They were always
Back in the
yellow.
day.
So it was like a white lettering with the black. And for some reason, it was harder for me to read it that way. So I had to challenge to like yellow font with like the black outlines and everything. I was like, oh, okay, that's much easier to read.
Yeah, because the old anime back in the day felt like it was always like third party, like sub.
It was fan subs. It was
fan subs.
Fan dubs. Sorry,
it was
fan
subs.
Fan subs.
Yeah, fan subs.
It was fan subs, and it was a lot when you downloaded them online. You could see who did the fan subs.
There were groups that did that.
Yeah, the group that did it, and some groups were like well known and sought after.
It's just crazy.
Depends. Like the new ones, when they do the dubs, because they have to make it match the mouth, they will sometimes change things. So if you ever watch like a dubbed episode or something and then do it again with the subs will be slightly different than the dubbed episodes.
Right.
So it's always better to do sub just because you actually know what they're trying to convey.
Right.
Yeah, but there's a lot of like fond memories I have from like watching anime dubbed like on TV. There's a lot of like mannerisms I'm sure they haven't. Yeah, whereas there's
Cowboy Bebop is one of them that I can think of.
Well, I mean,
Outlaw Star.
Well, you think that are good?
Which one?
Are you talking about the good like good ones.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like general mannerisms in anime when they're translated, where people like characters will have odd pauses in the middle of their conversations. Yeah. And it'll just be because the Japanese just takes longer to say, or someone will like, oh, what's that? Oh my God. When they do that, they're obviously just stretching out before the next character speaks. There's all these weird isms that I'm used to now. And it all just comes from them trying to make it work.
Right.
And it's just like, I love that stuff, even though I'm sure they didn't intend to do it.
Speed Racer. Have you ever watched the old Speed Racer?
Where he talks really fast?
Yeah. It's going. Oh. We would do a lot of that thing. Like, do the long. Oh.
Like the old animes, they definitely had those weird, sometimes they would talk super fast just to try to catch up, or they would have like the weird mannerisms. And so, it's so weird. It's hard to capture that back into like dubbed anime, because while like there's only a few animes that I can listen dubbed that just sounds good. So it's just weird. Like so Ed brought up a good one, like Outlaw Star. That was a good dub one.
Star.
That was an excellent one. I love that one.
Outlaw Star. That was a good series.
Ed's hitting, he's hitting the Toonami, and what was they had the Toonami After Dark series as well. But Outlaw Star, like Big O, Dragon Ball Z, those are animes that are really fully cool.
Oh yeah,
those are really good.
What was the one with the kid? It was really dark, but it was the one with the kid in skateboards, or not skateboarded with
that's
that had a band and he had like rollerblades.
It was really good. It was like a limited series.
It was really good, but the episodes could get dark. There was one whole episode dedicated about 3 people that were gonna commit suicide.
It was an anthology.
It was a cheery episode.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh damn.
Anime with a kid.
Kid with a bat. You'll know what it is.
And he has rollerblades.
Was that on Toonami?
Yeah, it's an anthology series that revolved around a serial killer or like a kid.
Yes, a serial killer.
Paranoid Agent.
Paranoid Agent.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I do remember that. they had some weird animes back in the day. Yeah, I remember that one.
Fully Cooley, speaking of weird animes.
It was great.
That was like super like hyper stylized.
It was
back in the day, let's say. I liked it too, but I'm saying it was way different than all the other animes from back in the day, like the animation style.
Wasn't there a part 2 of that?
Yes, there is.
I never saw part 2.
I haven't seen it either. But they did make a sequel, or at least a second season of Fully Cooley. Yeah, the Fully Cooley, it was such a weird thing. Like it was like a story within a story, but like they kept the original, the main storyline of like the Pirate King being a thing, and actually at the very end you actually see like this payoff of the actual Pirate King showing up. That was really cool. But yeah, Fully Cooley was definitely, it was one, but see, for us it might be weird because I guess for like American animation, everything was for the most part like very self-contained with the episode, and it was structured. But Fully Cooley, it just seemed like every single opportunity to avert from going down the expected path, that's what Fully Cooley did. So it was a cool anime for back in the day.
It was a cool anime because from what I remember, they didn't even follow like a regular story structure. It was like it was all over the place.
It was,
and it would have like weird pauses sometimes, and sometimes they would be mid into a story and then just completely shifted to something that had nothing to do with the story that you'd be watching up to that point.
Right, like the father. I remember the father being in love with the alien chick, and like they made like very strong references that they were sleeping together, and like the son was like getting all jealous because he thought the father was begging the girl that he liked. Kind of find out it wasn't even like that. She was just using him for whatever, like using his brain power, trying to conjure up a portal to like the Pirate King. It's just like for a kid watching that, you may not understand all the references, but it was just really weird for a kid anime back in the day. But,
Toonami had some great choices in anime.
Yeah, like Big O still to this day.
Big O, goddamn, that was so good.
That was a good anime.
But also had the little Conan. right? I never watched that one. But I
Conan?
remember that one was
Conan.
another one.
Detective Conan.
Detective Conan, the kid.
Yeah, I know about it. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, same here.
Well, maybe one day, fellas, we can put together a list of anime episodes and talk about in detail about how much we love anime.
I think we've.
How many of those can be hentai, or is it just all mass consumption?
What you do? I mean,
The fact that you asked, I mean, I assumed it would all be.
You are a man
That's all my top 10.
You are a man of culture. So, I mean,
what's
funny.
a Dragon Ball Z? I don't know what you're talking about.
Remember we went to one comic book convention, and they had
Sora?
Yeah, there was so many. Like there was like a whole hentai section. We're just like, what the hell? He's like, these do very well. Like, yeah, I'm sure they do.
I remember.
Yeah, like the poor kids who were just like searching through trying to find like their favorite Dragon Ball Z episode, and like, hey mom, look at this one.
Yeah, that's
when I went to like my first convention, there were like whole like massive booths of not hentai, like pornography, just like like Wizard World, like massive like booths. And this was when physical media, that was the only way to get it.
Yeah, and as I said,
those booths were full.
Yeah, they're always full. And that's the thing. I feel bad for the mom or the father who their kid, they're not paying attention. And their kid's like, hey, mom, I want to have, bring the Sailor Moon and the 7 Dragon Balls. And to be like,
that's what it was called too, wasn't it?
Well, that's actually what I was going to say about we have a friend that went with us. And that's the only reason I know about it, because I remember he saw it and he bought it. It was Sailor Moon and the 7 balls, wasn't it?
Yes,
was it?
Yeah,
something like that. And the cover was basically like Sailor Moon spread eagle with like Goku behind her or something.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And I'm just
you know what
I wonder how much money they had to pay to license that, because I'm pretty sure that was a legally licensed product.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, of course, yes, it was definitely legally licensed. I'm sure Funimation and all that, they were like, yes, please use our licensed character for your own pleasure. That was a different time.
Yeah, I mean, like we had guys like pouring over. This is what sticks with me. Like, this is the only thing that stuck with me, is that those booths were full of people like handling secondhand pornographic material. Just think about that.
Yeah,
that has always been my takeaway to this day. It's not that was there. It was that, why isn't anyone thinking about, there should be a giant Purell hand sanitizer upon exit and entry of that place. I was just thinking, like, everyone touching stuff over there. And I think I went in there and I probably picked up one thing, and then it dawned on me, and I never ever was like, oh my God. And then every time I go there.
They should have one of those decontamination capsules that they have like on the.
Yeah, they should.
Sci-fi movies.
On the Nostromo.
Yeah, you instead of.
The smoke comes. This. I mean, we're aging ourselves here, but I mean, that is kind of crazy. But I mean, think about you go to a convention, like when we this is back in mid 2000s, late 2000s, and people. There had to have been somebody, I'm assuming they're not just letting anybody just come in there and be like, hey, I want to buy a booth here, and don't ask me what I'm selling, blah blah. I'm sure you had to put up a catalog of what you're selling. So I mean, I would want to be that person who has to check all the material. So what are you selling today? Oh, I'm just selling some sweet fresh hentai straight from the land of the rising sun, and just go ahead and let me through.
You didn't have to do anything. You didn't have to do anything. You just anyone
had to pay the fee.
You had to pay the fee, and all you had to do was put up an 8x10 copy image that said 18 only.
Yeah.
Oh. Wow.
And then slap that on the side of your not
only that, if I remember too, that was in the seller's corner, and then or the merchant corner, and then also they would have this thing where they would have maybe 50 regular comic or anime issues, right? Just to make it seem that they weren't porn
just in the front.
And the rest of it was just
straight up
bucket loads of
porn.
But they would always do that, where they would have 20 issues of
Yeah, and then 2 action figures.
It just makes me. This is coming from a different time where video stores, right? Or video stores, you'll go around, and I remember as a kid, in the back of the video store, there was that one curtain off section, and as a kid, you're like
the beads,
the beads.
Yeah, you'd be like,
family video, baby.
Yeah, like where's back there? I bet you that's where they keep all the good stuff at. That must be where all the cool video games are at, or so forth. And lo and behold,
now as soon as y'all became of age, we all went back there.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And how big of a disappointing was that?
It was extremely huge.
For me, it was a massive disappointment.
Yeah, because I really thought like they kept all the best movies back there. Like I'm thinking, I don't know why I was thinking like all the best video games are back there, all the best movies. Like I'm thinking like, oh man, this is gonna be the mecca, like Blu-ray DVDs everywhere. And I'm just like, why is all these cases sticky?
Even knowing that
a guy in a tuxedo opens the beats for you, is like, welcome at last. Hands you a glass of champagne.
He's like, you are now a man.
I remember even going there just because I already know what, everyone knows what's behind the beaded curtains, but just I remember like thinking,
not true. Ed Underground never knew.
Well, Ed's
I know it from you guys. How yes.
I did tell him that's where the best video games are.
That is.
Yes.
Yeah. No, but just like the confidence or the lack of shame that you have to grab like the tapes, walking all the way from the back
to the
front counter. And have the guy see what your kinks are.
So and also when you went through that bead curtain, it would make noise. And I remember being in there every time somebody walked through that, you'd turn around and you'd look and you'd point. Yep. And you shame.
You don't want to have eye to eye contact because that's just weird. No. But you have to look him in the eyes, and then the worst thing, the way you got around
eye contact with the guy.
Don't break eye contact. But the thing is that to hide what you were having, you had to get another DVD. So you never came in just for that. You had to put DVD on top. And you got to hold it. You had to hold it from the spine so that they couldn't see what it was actually named. So it's not like you watch like the Matrix trilogy and then banging butts, slamming sluts on the second DVD case.
Or if you're in a real hurry, you just grab whatever sounds like. Okay, so first off is Barney the dinosaur, and then Anal Destroyer number 2.
Here Destroyer 20. You're like, I'm on the 20.
Odd choices here. Wide gambit.
You have
the best of Blue's Clues and
Backdoor Bandit 6. Like, wow, a little weird, but But anyhow, I don't know how we even got into this topic. We're talking about voice actors, American voice actors, and somehow we got into Backyard Sluts 5. But anywho, smooth transition. So as far as talking about American voice actors, did you guys see the latest What If episode?
Yes,
sir.
And what an episode! Like, it feels like Marvel. I mean, Disney, owns Marvel, owns now Star Wars at this point. I felt like Disney, even though they have already made the episode before we said anything, but I felt like the Disney gods heard us as we were talking. They said, you know what? I'm going to bless you with exactly what you asked for from Visions. And I felt like they maybe put out Visions just before they put out this episode, just to show that they're not playing around. Because this episode with What If was a huge payoff for anybody who's watched all the Visions or all the What Ifs until now. I thought it was a phenomenal episode. I thought it was really, really good. And it is definitely a break from what we have watched thus far. And it takes the best things that we've talked about with What If, it made it true with this episode. Now, for anybody who's watching, I think this is or anybody who's listening, this is What If episode, I believe 8.
8, yeah.
8.
Yeah.
And it's a tie-in from the previous episode of
loosely.
Episodes. Yeah, loosely. At the very end of episode 7, you see Ultron show up at the very end, and then it kicks off with episode 8. What happens, why Ultron showed up the way that he did. And it's just a phenomenal episode. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I think it was perfectly timed. I think it was maybe a little bit, actually, I feel like it's a little bit late. Honestly, I wish that this kind of pace, this kind of episode had happened earlier, but I'm happy he showed up, and I'm hoping that this is not the last episode of this season. I hope that they're not.
No, there's one more.
There's one more.
There's one more, I guess, to conclude, right? What's gonna happen?
Yeah. Okay.
Or leave it
great.
open.
So spoilers alert, right?
Spoilers.
Oh yeah, spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
And at this point, we talk about stuff that's recent. Screw. Yeah. If you at this point are listening to us, it's spoilers. You just gotta remember.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Forget you listeners. You guys are listening to us. F you guys. No, we love you guys.
No, please subscribe.
We love you guys.
Please
follow and subscribe.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
Yeah. If you just based off that, if you're subscribed, unsubscribe, and realize we actually need you, and then resubscribe because you love us.
Tell a friend.
Yeah, tell a friend. Yeah, we tell our followers and our listeners to F off, but please come back. So what you guys think about it?
I thought it was okay.
Oh
wow. Yeah. No, does everything in Marvel have to be linked? Can nothing just be its own thing? Does everything have to belong to part of a bigger universe? You know what I mean?
I think that was the payoff.
I think,
I don't think. Yeah, I don't. Without, but we were just complaining about
every one of the what if episodes have been
the quality of some of them. I wasn't complaining about the individual stories.
Well, all of what ifs have been individual stories.
Yeah, but now they're all linked within this last one.
I think it was all out of
together.
Yeah, well, I think it was assumed that they were kind of all linked because the Watcher's the constant in all of them, but. This one kind of breaks the fourth
wall. It's linked in the sense that the Watcher sees them all, not linked in the sense that now they all have to belong to one major story, which is Ultron, gaining the Vision's body. And I thought once you were out of your own reality, the stones weren't as powerful as established by Loki.
I did think that too when he
but somehow the power carries over no matter if you're in between realms or if you're whatever, it carries over no matter what. But in Loki, it may seem that once you were out of whatever universe you were in, the stones were useless.
Well, if that was the case, then what you're saying doesn't make sense then, because if that was the case, then based on the Avengers timeline, they took a lot of those stones and out of different timelines after they took them out of different universes to use them in the main universe. So if that's
when you're in the universe, yes, but when you're in the time streaming between universes, then when it's useless, according to Loki.
I think what he's saying is if you take another power stone to another universe that already has a power stone, that power stone will not have the effect.
Or the universe doesn't even have a power stone. If you just take it out of the universe itself, it's useless.
Loki, right? They just had him laying around, and they were the power stone.
Right.
Which is what made Loki be like, "What the hell? These ones."
I don't know if
in the universe.
Well, I don't know if that was the implication that they don't work. I think the implication is that they're insignificant in the grand scheme of things for Loki.
Yeah,
in that moment.
But I'm saying, and you have basically Ultron getting into the realm in between universes where the Watcher resides, and somehow he can still carry the power over.
Well, you're also you got Ultron, the intelligence of Ultron. At that point, he's conquered the whole universe, and then and
where is Kang the Conqueror in all this? If we're talking about jumping universes and everything,
that's a good point.
Well, the thing is, I mean, sure, we could talk about
because now it's all linked. Thanks to the fact that now Ultron is fighting the Watcher.
Yeah.
And now he's gonna go to other universes and other whatever realities. Then that means that he's gonna also stumble into Kang the Conqueror. So why isn't he stepping
maybe he missed him.
Yeah, he missed it. I mean,
maybe he missed it.
We've only seen,
it's like infinite realities. So
that's what I'm saying.
You're talking about odds
we have Ultron basically being able to jump to whatever reality he wants, because now he's able to go into basically, let's say, the space that the Watcher inhabits, where he can see all realities. Now Ultron was able to break into that space.
Right, but the thing is that, I mean, in one episode, so we went from seven episodes in the infinite amount of multiverses that exist, or multiple infinite amount of universes within the multiverse, and then you have Ultron, who is now became self-aware due to him being the only living or one of the few living organisms in the entire universe of his universe. become self-aware of the multiverse, and now he's starting to break out into the other the other universes. I mean, ultimately within that 30-minute episode, we've only got to see a such a small fraction of the universes that may exist. So he's only been fighting one. He's only been fighting one Watcher at the moment, and he only went to a very limited amount of places or universes. So I think at this time, I mean, will it pay off in the long run where he does meet Kang the Conqueror? Sure. But I think for what it is, it's kind of self-contained at the moment. I mean, not every universal threat has to be dealt with Kang the Conqueror doesn't have to be a part of every single threat to the universe. Kang might say, hey, I've already seen this play out, or I know how this is going to play out. I'm just going to leave it to the Watchers and leave it be and mind my own damn business. We don't know what's going to happen. But, I mean, I think for what it is, I mean, it's a self-contained issue with Ultron. I like it so far. I think it's good. I think that the rules that they set, they haven't established anything wrong with it. Currently, with the current rule set from Loki, from Avengers Endgame and so forth. So I think it's not bad.
I like how
I think it's the rules are like fast and loose with the rules.
Yeah, they're fast and loose in this last one.
I mean, it's typical comic book stuff here.
No, it's fine. I don't mind it. I don't mind that. I'm just saying if they're trying to make it, everything has to be linked and canon and blah, blah, blah. And this is now canon because of the multiverse.
Yeah, but the multiverse being canon is very iffy. You know what I mean? Like,
is it really canon though?
Yeah.
Yeah, now that they established Loki and all the multiverses, now they're variants. Therefore, everything is valid.
Well,
everything we watched.
So that means everything is canon. Nothing in my fan fiction of She-Hulk I just wrote as canon technically.
Pretty much. I mean, if it's broadcast or whatever. But so that's what it means because it's limitless. Infinite realities.
Yeah.
At Underground, what were you saying?
Oh, I just liked how he took out Thanos in seconds, just sliced him in half.
Yeah. So stupid that he would be able to get cut in half.
Yeah.
Well, Thanos also with like 4 of the stones, sliced. Yeah. And maybe there's a commentary on artificial intelligence and lack of emotion and how quick he reacted to that. And Thanos probably may not have expected that right off the exit.
Right. And then
I wasn't
the
integration.
And I guess from how I kind of explained it, I rationalized it, was that Vision has a connection to the Mind Stone at a deeper level than what Thanos has with the Infinity Gauntlet. So the amount of power that he, because we're not even thinking about, let's take away Vision, because Vision doesn't exist in this world, is only Ultron. So Ultron's, as we saw before, where Vision had a deep connection to the Mind Stone, where he was actually able to sense things through the Mind Stone outside of what Thanos, he could just literally control it with his Infinity Gauntlet, but he wasn't really feeling anything outside. He wasn't feeling anything except maybe like the Soul Stone, where, when he got sent to that other world and he got to talk to Gamora. Or he got put inside the Soul Stone to talk to Gamora. He doesn't have that deeper connection to it like the Mind Stone, like Ultron would. So that's how I rationalize it, that he can draw extra power that might be stronger than what Thanos could do with the rest of them.
Well, you're kind of right, because the gauntlet is created to channel the stones. It's like the apparatus, and in this case, Ultron is the apparatus. The stones are bonded to him. He is the gauntlet, basically.
They did it so they could be able to fit everything within a 14-minute episode and not have to have a huge fight between Thanos and Ultron.
Yeah, and it's also the shock value of it.
Yeah,
the shock value.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, I feel like Thanos in all these episodes is treated like a bitch.
He's an extreme bitch. So. They ruined Thanos,
which is fine. We don't need more Thanos. He already had his big movie and everything. So
he's literally had an entire Avengers series be based off.
Yeah, exactly.
Of him.
So I'm perfectly content with not seeing him being the major threat again.
Yeah, but,
I do like how they're doing. They're basically just the way they're treating him, because he was the big bad. He was in 2 of the biggest movies of Marvel as of now. And,
which movies?
Infinity
War, and Endgame.
Oh,
what?
Okay.
And also,
you're
like,
Good job.
22 movies of buildup of hype for that guy.
Yeah,
Yes.
they've had Thanos for a long
Yeah.
time.
He was the hype guy, remember?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
the man. He was the main man.
Yeah, so I like how they're like just saying like, he's just whatever now. So it's kind of like, okay, if Thanos was this big and now you're just doing whatever to him, I wonder how big what's his name? I already forgot.
Kang.
Kane. Yeah, how big he's gonna be compared to
Pretty
Thanos.
damn big.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I like how they brought in the Doctor Strange Easter egg. I mean, not the Easter egg, but the ending to that. I mean, that kind of paid off because I said before, like, that was my favorite episode. That's still overall,
that is still my favorite episode.
Yeah, it's my favorite episode, and the fact that they, brought it back to him again, and then just throw him away. The fact that now you have Strange, being the Sorcerer Supreme with all these ancient supreme beings that he's absorbed inside of his body. Now he is, and he literally survived the end of his universe. His universe literally collapsed on him. So you can tell how powerful he is. He's the only living being in his entire universe, and the Watcher having to go to him for help. I think it's just phenomenal. I did like that drawback to that, because I mean, who else would you get who's outside of the Watcher trying to depend on Natasha? And we know that
you're in the comics, Reed Richards. If we're talking about the cartoons and movies, then yes, probably Doctor Strange.
Yeah, we're talking about in this. We're talking about within the What If universe currently. Doctor Strange is the most powerful person probably in the whole universe, outside of what they're trying to do with Natasha and what's his name?
Hawkeye. Oh no, he died.
He died. What's the AI?
Armin Zola.
Yeah.
I just remember him in the comics with the weird body face or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
So he's in Winter Soldier.
Yeah, he's in Winter Soldier.
Okay.
He's been around. He was in the original obviously Captain America. He was in Winter Soldier as the AI. And I think they haven't really talked about him other than that, because they only talked about him when he got blown up. He came back as the AI during Winter Soldier, and he blew up the facility. They made it seem like there was no other copies of him except in Siberia, and that was during Civil War, but they didn't even mention him during Civil War. So that was kind of an interesting twist, that his AI still existed in Siberia for the Winter Soldier.
I think I believe that it was implied that Winter Soldier would have destroyed. If you remember Civil War, when they get to that facility, all the super soldiers that are, the big idea is that, he's going to unleash the super soldiers, and when they get to the facility, he's executed all the super soldiers.
Right.
So the idea, I think, what I took is he destroyed Armin Zola. He destroyed everything that would have been relevant to the super soldier program, because it was just a bait to get them there to fight each other.
Oh no! I do remember that, but I'm saying, like, they didn't mention that Armin Zola was still alive as an AI in Siberia.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
they didn't mention it.
Yeah, that was a little weird thing that they threw in. I was like, okay, I mean, I can buy it. I can go with it. And which,
but that's also a different reality. So we don't know how it all went down in that reality.
That's very true. But it was a huge payoff, and I thought I commend Marvel and Disney for doing that, because I think that was pretty cool that they brought that in.
It'd be cool now, since Armin Zola is in a body, if they put him in his actual comic book costume.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, where his face is in his chest.
Yeah. That would be cool, but I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm kind of nervous at the fact that they only have, like, the last What If. Like, the What Ifs are only 30 minutes long, so that's a lot of crap to put in.
I think we'll extend it. It's possible.
I don't think we'll get any of that. I think you'll just get a conclusion to this.
Yeah, just a quick conclusion. I don't think. Yeah, you're right.
I did like some of the scenes they added in, or like almost like Easter eggs. Like, if you notice, there was a Captain Steve Rogers in the background of one of the universes when Ultron was punching the Watcher. If you can see, like, in the background, you can see like a Rogers getting sworn in. There's
Yeah,
also
the president. Yeah.
yeah, there's another scene too where Black Widow and Hawkeye, they switched roles, as in back when they got the Soul Stone, how Black Widow sacrificed herself. But then what if they switch it up? I thought that was a really nice touch. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah, he kind of went. He seemed like he reverted back to his Ronin period, where he just like, I have nothing to live for, and instead of switching to becoming Ronin, he just stayed Hawkeye, but he still had the same attitude as Ronin. Like I have like he's like, don't give me hope. You're like, I don't want hope, but this time
his family got nuked this time rather than snapped. I mean,
his family's not coming back this time. Like, he's like, don't give me hope. There's no way to bring him back. So he was just like, I'm done. So I thought that was pretty cool. Same attitude, but just different.
There is a an official Easter egg where when Ultron was punching when they were fighting the Watcher in his full-on armored version of buff Watcher, as I call him. There's a scene where he's punching him through realities, like he's punching him and he breaks through reality, punches him and he breaks through another sequence. And then two of those realities that they quickly broke through, they're Star Wars planets.
What?
Mustafar was one of the planets that he broke through, and then when he landed on one of the planets, is that plant planet. So it's unofficial. It was just like a homage thing. So, but it's very
still,
clearly Mustafar, because you could see the sequence is the same.
How did I miss that?
Because you're a fake fan.
No, no. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I can't believe I missed Mustafar. I have to see it again.
Yeah.
The only thing you know about Star Wars is Order 66. That's all you know.
I know more about Order 66.
Order 66. That's all you know. But no, I mean, this What If was really good. I was really surprised, like I said, how good it turned out to be, and I'm really looking forward to the last one. I mean, it's kind of one of those things, like it's a slow. I equate it to a slow roller coaster ride. Like, even all the episodes up to now really haven't been big action. Something that had no wow factor. A lot of these had no wow factor. A lot of these episodes were just more of alternate storylines of things that we knew, just changed, and kind of something that anybody could kind of think of what would happen. It was nothing that was like, oh my goodness, mind-blowing action. This one, it changed my mind, and I was really surprised at how well it turned out. And I can only hope that the next episode actually turns out to be, I hope it comes at a better level than what it was with this one. And hopefully Green Tuner is not talking about, it's just okay.
Yeah, he's a hard one to impress.
Yeah, he's very
I'm just
hard
saying,
to impress.
that's my thoughts. I started, I like some of them. It's just not blowing me away.
Wait, actually, let me ask you a question, Green Tuner. Did you finish Visions? Star Wars Visions? Okay. All right, never mind. 'Cause I was going to see, like, hey, how did you feel about Star Wars Visions versus this? I'm not.
What I did like about Visions is it was for the few that I watched, was at least they were what I was actually saying that Star Wars should be. Like, not everything has to be Jedi versus whatever. It was actually like weird, unique stories, like a rock band story. A story about
that was the worst one.
No, I know they're dumb, but I mean, at least it's something different. Is what I'm saying.
It's
that
funny.
Was one of the worst. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think we were gonna say the same thing. You go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that was like the one episode out of the entire series that didn't have to do with Jedi versus the Sith. So
I know that's what I'm saying. No, I know it sucked, but I'm saying at least is something different.
But you made
but that's the whole point. Like, the ones that we liked, I don't know if you've gotten to them, but the ones that we liked are all Jedi related.
Yeah. And you just said like, oh, like, this is, you made it seem like there was a lot of them outside of that one episode that wasn't Jedi versus Sith. It's just that one.
Yeah, because I watched, like, the first one was good. The one with
the black
duel.
and white.
The duel. It's called the duel.
The duel. Yeah, so that one was good. I like it.
That was
the artwork was really neat.
I think that's intentionally the first one you watch because it's the most
to get you hooked on.
Yeah, it's the most reflective of the pitch product.
Or the ones with the sibling was fine, but that one went like way too over.
The twins.
It became basically every anime I've watched back in the day when they're fighting in space and screaming for 20 seconds. So.
But I did like the over-the-top anime-ness of that episode where they're just standing outside the ship. And
standing outside in space.
Yeah, it's just like, you just have to put it aside. Yeah.
The
anime
force,
shit.
Yeah, the force is
and then at the end when she's like floating in space, like the robot is wearing a helmet for some reason because he needs to breathe in outer space as he's rescuing her.
Are you questioning anime right now? Because if you are, you can kind of like just fuck off.
Or even worse, are you questioning Star Wars right now?
Yeah,
that's true.
Double whammy.
Wow, I mean, fake fan.
Two
We thought Ed was a fake fan. Jeez.
Fake fan.
But yeah, I'm sorry that I'm not easily amused and impressed by everything that Marvel shits out.
Right.
Sorry.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because that's exactly what we're doing. Being like, oh my goodness, Marvel's the best thing. Okay, yeah.
What was the last thing you liked?
Yeah, I know, right? Like,
I'm trying to think back.
I like the Doctor Strange thing. I liked it. That was legitimately one of my favorite episodes I've watched so far.
So how's it that I
like the Killmonger one too.
I said the exact same thing, but you're saying you're like, oh, I'm sorry, Creamcast, I don't like everything Marvel shits out. I'm a harsh critic on Marvel, but I'm gonna give them
you were
props.
defending the Thor house party episode like it was something.
I said it was good. I said it was a good episode. I was like, yeah, exactly. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Crap.
But that was intended. Like I watched it too. That was intentionally a comedic pause break episode that they were just like, let's just have fun with this one. It was totally them having fun.
Before shit,
and it's intentionally positioned in that series.
I understand. And again,
before it gets grimdark.
Okay.
I mean, look, if what you want me to just say that I like things that I don't like. If I don't like it, I don't like it.
Yes. Just say you like hive mind here. Just say you enjoyed it so we can move the hell on. Thank you.
And I'm only a harsh critic again because I've seen Marvel do some really good things. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fuck you. Okay.
Well, before we get off, what if I did make a purchase? I did purchase the zombie cap figure.
Cool. Nice.
I thought this looked really cool. And I saw people online pose him really in a cool way. So looking forward to posing him.
Is he?
That's part of the
Can he get split in half?
I have no idea what he can do.
All right. Well,
but there's like parts of his body that are just see through. Like they're just.
Oh yeah.
This girl have a saw.
This is a cool looking skull.
Saw in half. Yeah. Like damn it, he's gonna be cut in half. Yeah, make us happy.
Anyways,
no, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
So next big thing, back to Marvel. I mean, I don't know. Marvel's just Marvel. I gotta give
Sony?
Marvel credit. Well, it's still
we talk about Marvel and Disney on this podcast.
Podcast a lot because
that's
they
it.
They produce a lot of shit.
Pay us, Disney.
Yeah, at this point, yeah. I mean, we are spokespersons for Disney at this point.
Yeah, we'll get rid of Green Tuner if you want.
Yeah, I would drop it.
No, we do.
Sorry, I don't think that
please give us
Marvel
feedback.
Gold.
Yeah. I will sell out my
Adios.
friends. I'll sell out my friends for just $1. Just give me $1.
Hell yeah.
So what are your thoughts on Captain Marvel Creamcast?
So, the next thing.
Oh, he froze. The connection froze.
That's not how this conversation.
Yeah, he's going through a tunnel right now.
Wow, that's so talking about Marvel and other great things that they're doing. So to be fair, I did enjoy the fact that Captain Marvel got her ass whooped in What If. I'm so tired of that conversation of people always talking about Captain Marvel. Well,
in the Thor one, she shows up and he stands toe to toe with her. I'm so glad because I thought she would have been like, oh, she kicks his ass all over.
Well, no, she did say she was holding back.
She was holding back, yeah.
Because she didn't want to.
Yeah,
whatever. That's her. Yeah, I mean, she was holding back.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd say even when I've said this before, there's a power level that she has that she's not even. They haven't even displayed it yet. So
yeah,
she's like a planet destroyer.
No, that's just in the comics too, Ed.
That's in the comic. That's like 10 years old.
She's extremely powerful.
Yeah, I know.
She is a planet. She is a capable.
Ed Underground, calm down.
I know. You should ask.
Camera was shaking.
It's you and me, Ed.
He's like, oh,
against these two sellouts.
Yeah, sellouts. Wow. Okay. I'm sitting here talking about. I enjoy the fact that Captain Marvel got beat up because I'm just tired of the conversation people have of always having like Captain Marvel. She could destroy everybody. Blah blah blah. And we saw that Ultron kills her. And I'm not saying I enjoy, Captain Marvel herself dying or anything of the sort. It's they put her at a power level, like so many people, and I feel like it's more of the story. I guess how it is that people set her up to be. They want somebody to be super powerful, and now we have a female comic book. This is, one of the few Marvel has done, if not the only female comic book character that Marvel has done as far as the movies are concerned, that is at a power level that can truly stand up to everybody within the Avengers. You have, before, and I complained about this as well in the past, like you have like Black Widow, who is literally just a human. And she's the only female representation on the Avengers that can do anything, but she really can't do much. But she's more of the emotional backbone of the story, which is fine in of itself.
She's like a leadership capacity too. Yeah, she's got like experience for team leadership.
Right, which is that's cool. That's cool within itself. But I, at the same time, it's like with Captain Marvel, I want a person who is just a badass character who's just blowing stuff up and so forth, who can go toe to toe with like Thor and Thanos and all this other stuff. But let's not be unrealistic the fact that she is unbeatable by everybody. So I enjoy the fact that you have Ultron, who has synced up with all the Infinity Stones, probably at a level that is not humanly possible.
Over 9,000.
Over 9,000.
Over 9,000. He is extremely powerful. And so when he goes against Captain Marvel, of course she's gonna go toe to toe with him at first. But as Ultron literally is an AI that can calculate and grow as they're fighting. He eventually is like, okay, he gets powerful and he destroys her. And this is Captain Marvel going at full power against Ultron. And Ultron was
but they never showed that though. I wish they showed that.
Yeah, I wish it was a grander scale. Sure, absolutely. But Ultron kills her. Now I enjoyed that because it sets the reality of like everybody wants to think of Captain Marvel being this ultra powerful person that no one can beat. And we've seen it with Endgame where she got beat up, or not Endgame, or Endgame, yeah. Endgame where she fought
Thanos for a little bit.
And Thanos used the Power Stone, right?
Power Stone,
he used the Power Stone and probably caught her off guard, rocked her for a second, just enough to get her dazed, and so forth. And now with Thor fighting her, granted she was not full power, and now with Ultron actually defeating her. I hope like this sits alive the Captain Marvel fans down and be like, she's not limitless.
It's the Superman problem that has existed in comic books for a long time.
It is the Superman problem.
You can't.
And actually, lately, it's also becoming the Batman problem because it made Batman pretty much invincible.
No, I mean he has his.
No, he definitely has.
No, he's human, but no matter what they do, Batman always wins.
That's not true.
In almost every instance.
That's not true.
No, he's died in some things.
Like a Snyder cut. The Snyder cut. But I'm saying legit supposed to die.
No, he was supposed to die. No, I'm just talking overall. Like recently, it's like
he's the coolest guy in the room at all times.
He has, he happened to have kryptonite stashed away. He can be.
Well, didn't you read Deceased? You read Deceased, right? And so when
that's
he
the reason
dies,
they took him out first because they're like, okay, we gotta take out the biggest threat to the zombies, which is Batman. So we gotta get him off right away. The comic book.
But that scene where he in the comic where he gives Damian the briefcase with the costume, but it has like 4 little boxes for each of the biggest Justice League. Like it has deterrents for all of them, which is cool. But that's the whole idea since I think it's the Tower of Babel storyline where he has plans for everybody.
Yep.
And he has plans for every situation. So you're right. He's in the similar situation. When you write a story, how do you get around Batman knowing?
Yeah, because he's the world's
solving the
greatest
problem.
detective, the best martial artist, one of the richest men in the world. So
it's badass.
Just keep giving him. But yeah, it is the Superman problem where he's too powerful. So you gotta have magic, be one of his weaknesses or kryptonite.
Or a sniper bullet.
Well, if with Superman though, it's kryptonite and it's magic, and those
magic.
are like it's like he's OP, but there are certain things that it's like universally accepted. This will slow Superman down or kill Superman. With Captain Marvel, there are things, but like she's like limitless with her ability and power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Really
So it's like
much Captain Marvel,
and that leads to bad. It's bad. Like it's there's no stakes. So she's
wasn't Hulk at one point the same, right? Because he can regenerate even if there's a single cell left of Hulk. He will regenerate.
Yeah, he can regenerate. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Hulk, but the Hulk, I think we've talked about this before, that the Hulk has even fought God-like figures and has taken their powers and become like a God-like figure himself. I mean, but the same thing has happened with Superman. Superman was it Omega Superman? Is it Omega Superman? I forgot.
Yeah.
When he becomes a god, he pretty much becomes a god.
Superman Prime.
There we go. Superman Prime.
Yeah.
And like he becomes pretty much a god at that point. You're constantly going to be faced with these situations, especially with these top tier comic book characters. I think the only group that has made that not as god tier would probably be the X-Men. X-Men has, I feel like, done a relatively decent job at.
They give him enough weaknesses where you're like, okay.
Wolverine is the same boat almost as those guys where he can. I mean, he's literally died and come back.
He's dead and come back, but they give him enough, like the metal in his body. Magneto can pretty much stop him on his tracks without really breaking a sweat.
It's the same thing with Superman. He's died and came back. He died back in the 90s.
Prominently once. Well, he technically never died. He never
exactly. Died. See, but if you can kill Batman and you can't bring him back unless you talk to Ra's al Ghul.
Well, no,
Superman died. Batman died.
He has died.
Superman has died. And
no, he never died. That's just
the death of Superman.
He never died. He went into like a Kryptonian hibernation where at the edge of death is like something to do with the cells and all the like. In the return, they explain how he comes back. He wasn't fully dead. He was on the brink of death. But
wait, is that the Superman where he died?
That's the Doomsday.
Doomsday.
Yeah, first time he died.
Basically beat him to death.
Yeah, that black suit. Yeah, that black suit's designed to regenerate his solar radiation.
So this is
whatever. He never officially died.
So this is the one that
he went into
died.
hibernation.
He went into
he went to heaven and he saw his family, right? Like he saw his parents.
He was like at the edge of death, but his Kryptonian physiology would not let him fully die. That's why he could come back to life.
Okay, so I remember why. I just remember this
is the comic book explanation I'm giving you. That's very convoluted.
Yeah, no. Because I remember the death of Superman. I'm just trying to jog my memory. He got killed, right? He got killed by Doomsday, and then he went to heaven, and he pretty much had to make a choice where he either could come back to Earth or he can just stay dead. And then he comes back, but then he didn't come back as himself, right? Did he come back as like 5 different versions?
No, I mean, we're getting into a whole bag of, there are 5 different versions of him that were separate beings that took his place while he was being regenerated in this coma state.
Wasn't Steel one of them?
Yeah, Steel was one of them. Superboy was one of them.
Superboy, but I thought Superboy they created him in the lab in that.
Superboy is a clone of Lex Luthor and Superman mixed together.
Yeah, he had a skin type outfit with he had the
leather jacket.
Yeah,
he's quintessentially 90s.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, he's the coolest version of Superboy.
He had the gloves on that had like a whole bunch of slack at the like that's typical 90s.
And then he had the 90s sunglasses, the little round ones.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's quintessentially 90s, man. It's he's just dripping.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'll swag 100%. I just can't remember how Superman came. The actual.
So you know what I would suggest for you, Creamcast, the animated Death and Return of Superman movies probably on HBO Max. Very, very good. The second one goes into all the stuff you're talking about and explains it really well. And it was only like 2 years ago it came out, so they kind of were able to gather all the post comic book information, put it together really well, but it goes into all the imposters, what they're doing, why they're there.
But the bigger question is, mullet Superman, yay or nay?
Yeah,
Yay.
yeah.
Me too. I love
I mean,
mullet Superman. I don't know why.
I mean, pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. I thought all. Honestly, I thought all the Superman versions. I remember those like the the one that
That was terrible.
Yeah,
controls
the
it.
blue.
Superman Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was
I liked them.
terrible.
I thought they were all cool. I thought they were all cool.
It was reviled.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it was
people hate
different. Yeah, but
Metallica. Or not Metallica. What was the other one that was basically Terminator?
What was
I
the
know
name
what
of
you're
that
talking about.
character?
the one that was like part
With
side.
the kryptonite in his chest.
He was also in the Death of Superman run.
Yeah, I forgot the name of the guy. It's like I forgot his name, but yeah, he's pretending to be Superman.
Yeah.
Is it Cyborg Superman?
Yeah, it's Cyber Superman. He has his character has a name. It's like just a regular name.
Didn't he have
I forgot what it was.
kryptonite in his chest too?
Yeah, you're talking about Metallo. That's a different
Metallo,
character.
who is what I brought up at first. I'm like, it's not Metallo.
Yeah, Metallo is a different character.
And then the Eradicator, that was the electric
Eradicator,
one.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna watch it again.
Watch the movie. The movie sums it up real good.
Okay, yeah, I did see that they had a movie before. I just wasn't. I'm old school. I just prefer the comics because it just tells the most.
There's a lot with Death of Superman. There's a lot to read. So I would say that watch the movie. It sums it up. Unless you want to read like 30 plus issues. Ed, what are you saying?
Oh, I was going to say for a transition, but keep going.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about movies since, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, go ahead then.
Go ahead and
transition.
Smooth.
Since you're in the middle of a transition.
Come on,
Ed's the master of transition.
It's not as smooth anymore. It's like we're talking about it. So yeah, segment away.
Oh, it's not as smooth, just like this movie you're about to talk about. Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Okay, go ahead and talk about it. I was gonna say, I was saying earlier, it's like Marvel can't miss right now. Marvel stays relevant because they're just constantly putting out content nonstop. And like with that, I was gonna talk about bring up Venom, which I have not seen. So I'm gonna let you guys lead the way.
Oh wait, who's seen Venom? Is it just Dark Side and myself? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you just saw it today, right?
Yeah, I saw it. An hour ago?
So
lay it on us, Ed Underground.
So I don't know which one is better, the first one or the second one. It's kind of both. I will say one thing. The actress, I forgot her name, but she plays Anne. Eddie Brock's ex.
Yeah, Michelle Williams.
Yeah, better acting in this one than the previous movie. Do you agree or just?
She had about the same amount of work to do in this movie, so
I thought she was better in this movie.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The other one, she seemed just kind of flat, just like "Why am I here?" type thing.
She was. Yeah, I mean, I think she had the same presence in this movie than she had in the first one. What do you think about our boy Tom Hardy? Do you think he expanded upon the role of Eddie Brock, the thespian that he is?
I think he did better than the first one. I mean, he's the only reason why I even wanted to watch the first one. Why I think the first one even succeeded, if you would call success mixed reviews. But I think
mixed reviews, but it made truckloads of money. And this one also has the biggest opening of the pandemic era. So it's pretty much locked again for another damn sequel. Now,
it is.
So you weren't a big fan of the first one. I think that was this one better or worse? You said you felt it was the same for you?
I felt it was a little bit better. My problem with the second one is that I felt like they were just like putting things in the movie to, if this makes sense at all, just so we can finally get the end fight.
You're talking about, Carnage.
Yeah, Carnage versus Venom. It felt like they were just kind of putting things together just so we can get to the end fight, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I agree with you. The movie, I'll be honest with you, I'm probably going to forget this whole movie in a few more hours. My brain is already eliminating memories.
Melted away.
Yeah, it just wasn't anything. It wasn't anything. Carnage was disappointing to me. I don't know how other people would have felt. This like the idea of the first one, the fight from the first one is two symbiotes fighting, and it's exactly what you would think it is.
Yeah.
And the second one is two symbiotes fighting, and it's exactly what you think it is. The charm of Cletus Cassidy, Carnage, was his like Cletus Cassidy, and what happens when a deranged serial killer gets control of a perfect killing tool. And I just did not see that happen. Like, I felt like Carnage wasn't in the movie as much as I wanted him to be in it.
He wasn't.
Yeah, you got that feeling too? I feel like you spent a lot of time with Cletus Cassidy and the build up to it. But when you finally got them together and Carnage was created, I didn't really care for him that much. He even spoke like Venom.
Yeah, he did.
Like, his voice didn't have any kind of uniqueness, like, which I always imagined like Carnage would sound like. I don't know how Carnage would sound in my mind. Like, it was just, it wouldn't sound like.
It always sounded like a shriek. I don't know, like a shrieking.
Yeah. Wait, do you guys remember
at least when in the comics?
Yeah, I wanted him to be more like. Here's what I always imagined. Like, Carnage is always like childlike. Like, he's like he's a kid. He is a kid. He's like the spawn of Venom. So like, imagine a child.
Stupid.
Yeah, imagine a child.
He's not a smart guy.
He's not a smart guy. Cletus Cassidy's also like that same way. So like, it felt almost like Cletus Cassidy should be the wiser one, where he's kind of almost taking advantage of this childlike mind of Carnage, and Carnage is just overjoyed with like mayhem and chaos and death and destruction. But in this movie, it felt like Carnage is already aware and in charge and doing what he does, and it's just like, it didn't feel like, I was like, where'd this guy come from? I mean, where's Cletus Cassidy? Yeah, I mean, he's in it. He's in it, and I think he does a decent job. It's just like that. I don't think it earned Carnage, if that makes sense.
It didn't earn Carnage.
I guess I have a question real quick. Mm-hmm. Is Carnage in this? Because in my mind, I always thought of Carnage as being like, with the symbiotes having their own personalities, and then Carnage coming from Venom, being born from Venom, that Carnage in and of itself wouldn't have its own personality. That's how I always kind of viewed it as. But Carnage, you're saying in this one, Carnage is already self-aware, is already.
Is like the bad guy. Yeah, he's like, he comes out going like, I'm the end boss, I'm here, I've arrived. And it's instead of like some kind of growing pains or development or like, something like interesting, like we're literally looking at a killer infant, which is what I always imagined and wanted, like basically a child killing machine, just going nuts, not understanding or caring for life and death.
Yeah,
that's the way I've always.
How Carnage fights anyway. He just basically, the reason why Carnage in the comic books, at least, it's hard to fight against because it's nonsensical. He basically fights like an animal, where he just goes with whatever instinct it is. So he never plans anything ahead.
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason.
It's difficult to fight against.
Sure.
I thought this movie because they never like, in previous movies or with the first movie with Venom, they clearly showed that that Venom was a separate entity from Eddie Brock. Like, they had their own personalities and so forth. Yeah. They did not show that with Let There Be Venom or Let There Be Carnage. That Carnage at any point in the trailers, that Carnage was a separate entity from Cletus. So it just seems like at the same time, that's why I in my mind, I already had this pre-notion going in that the murderous intent of Carnage would be from the host. And that's just what it is. It was not Carnage being self-aware. It was just mostly just a tool to go on killing sprees and blah, blah, you have this power. But you're saying that Carnage is born and it's like, hey.
The whole like killing spree aspect of the serial killer getting this symbiote, I don't think there was like a jail escape sequence that was kind of like it. But what I wanted was total chaos in the streets, like madness, like Carnage, like Maximum Carnage, basically. In streets of San Francisco, and we got more of like a bad guy with like a grudge, and I didn't like that. The other thing you brought up, which I have a problem with generally, is the personalities. What do you guys think of the personality from the first movie that Venom had, like that symbiote had?
I didn't like. He was more. how to explain this. I'll use this as an example.
Yeah.
The rave scene. I hated that rave scene when he was on the mic. So
Yeah.
before I
there's a
saw
rave
the movie,
scene.
yeah,
There's
I
a
hate
rave
it.
scene, folks.
Nice.
It's
This is one of the main things that I also did not like, and it has to do with Venom and Eddie Brock, is that they're not. Venom is a bigger personality than Eddie Brock, and that always bothered me because it was always like Eddie Brock in my mind was in the comics that I read. Eddie Brock was the bigger personality. Venom was the tool. Venom was like looking for that make me whole kind of the symbiosis, and Eddie Brock was the best candidate. But Eddie's using Venom as like a conduit for what he wants, and it's like this is what Eddie wants to do, and we're gonna do it. In this movie, Venom, they literally, like in the movie, they break up like a couple, and Venom just like goes off on his own, and I'm like, wait, this is not the way I thought this relationship was. It's like, I don't know if you guys remember Separation Anxiety and all those comic books where it's painful. Separating Eddie Brock and Venom is like pulling your DNA apart. Like they described in the comic, they wrote the pain that he feels very well. It's like literally someone's pulling your DNA apart and how painful that separation is. In this movie, it was just like, oh yeah, it's like I took off my hat and bye, Venom.
like, bye.
So that relationship I never really liked. And that's with Venom, and I think that trickles down to Carnage too.
Well, like you said in the first movie, once again, just caveating, I have not seen the second movie yet. We'll be seeing it this weekend. I kind of broke my body before I could go see it. So, but no, I will say the same thing. When you compare the comic book Venom to the movie, and granted, you know, there might be it might be a thing for the directors. The director may have a different vision than the comic books, whatever. But in the comic books, it always seemed like you said, I agree 100%, that Brock was the one in charge. Brock was the one that was guiding. Like they were like that Eddie wanted to do these things, but he couldn't do it normally. But then with the help of Venom, Venom was kind of that surrogate, that symbiotic relationship that pushed him to be able to actually be able to do these things. And it felt like in the first movie that Venom was too much of an anti-hero per se, just to bad people. It was like he was like this, like, oh, I don't do anything wrong other than to necessarily bad people, which kind of goes against the whole Venom. Venom is not a nice guy. Venom has never been a nice guy in the comic books. Venom is not this guy who is going to be, well, I save the less fortunate and only do things to bad people kind of personality. While Carnage, you know, of course, Carnage is Carnage. He will absolutely destroy and murder anybody. But yeah, I felt like
I think there's a difference between Venom and Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock is redeemable, and that's where there's a raw initial hatred and that both Eddie Brock has against Peter Parker and the symbiote has against Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and both of those coming together, they, you know, cause him to be like initially a villain, but Eddie Brock is redeemable. Eddie Brock is, you know, at his heart, he wants to be a good man. He just is in the shadow of a better man. So that's like Venom is, in that sense, like Venom is a tool for whoever is wielding Venom, you know, like, I mean, the symbiote. So in this movie, there's discussion of like Venom just wants to eat brains, which I'm glad they added that. It was very important for my depiction of Venom growing up, that it was like his hunger for brains must be depicted in this movie. And some fun, I mean, they literally, I remember there was a toy when you're growing up that the toys talked, the Marvel toys. This was in the early 90s, and Venom I would just say, I want to eat your brains. This was like a Toys R Us toy, and it just always like stuck with me. This is the most like
killer.
It's
your serial killer here. He's like, I love the toy, but I really love the fact that he murdered people and ate their brains. That's what stuck with me.
And actually cool in this movie, Venom literally goes into why he wants to eat brains. There's a chemical or hormone in human brains that he's specifically hungry for, and it's also in chocolate. So they satiate him by feeding him chocolate too.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, this movie is very PG-13. That's the other problem with it.
Yeah.
In a movie where Carnage is your main villain and Venom is also your main villain or your anti-hero or hero, PG-13 cannot be the package that you present it in. You will not get the story you want. But again, the movie made I was trying to look it up, like $110 million. Yeah, it's the biggest opening of the pandemic. So it did what it needed to do. That being said, it's I mean, I wouldn't say it's horrible. It's serviceable, but it's not what I wanted.
It's not. I don't know if the first one is better or the new one, but I think the problem with Venom here is, and I said this before, there's Venom and Eddie Brock's purpose in the comics, in the cartoons, in the games was the same. Peter Parker, Spider-Man, hatred for Peter Parker, for Spider-Man. In the movies, that is not there. So
I think they still. I mean, I think it's more the details, like with that hatred. Hatred never guided this character. Like, I mean, he could have, that symbiote found Peter Parker first. It just changed his behaviors, made him more selfish and more of a jerk. But it wasn't like
cool dance moves.
Do cool dance moves. God. Yeah, have a good emo look. Maybe he was looking at the mirror and he was seeing like fucking Tom Cruise or something, and we're seeing like emo Toby, and we're like, oh my god.
Hey, buy me some shade. Wait, oh man. Funny. I'll let you finish, but some of the news that came out about Sam Raimi, and then also about Andy Serkis talking about Venom as well. I want to bring up. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, Andy Serkis, who directed this, which I was really excited to watch this movie. I'm glad you brought up Andy Serkis because I went with a friend, and my expectations were very low going into this, and he did mention, but Andy Serkis did direct it, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, now my expectations are a little bit higher. I'm a big fan of him. I'll be honest with you, I didn't see a lot of Andy Serkis in here at all. Like you could have told me the first guy directed this. It's not.
Yep, it didn't felt really like have the much first movie.
It did. It really, I didn't get much of a takeaway. So there is, I think that's what Ed Underground was trying to get to. There's one reason to watch this movie, and it's pretty much the only reason to watch this movie, is the mid-credit sequence. And it is a big deal. It's huge. It's a huge deal. So do you want to just talk about, Ed, just describe the scene?
Okay. Well, even before the scene, I noticed there were, when Cassidy picked up a note and he was writing in it to give to Eddie Brock, there was a spider on the back of it, and he
smashes a spider.
He smashed a spider. Yeah, and they were talking about heroes and villains too in that dialogue.
Yeah, and there's also a whole bunch of there's a lot of poetry and there's a lot of stuff.
And there's also one part where when Eddie Brock and Venom are looking at Cletus Cassidy's cell, and there's lots of carved writings in there, and then they go back home and they're writing out what they saw. Within like a split second, you can see a spider, a drawing of a spider, but like in the left corner, I saw it. Like, oh, okay, it's kind of cool. Like there. So the end credit scene. Venom. Was there two or just one?
Just one that I stayed for.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm glad I stayed. I'm really happy I did not walk out right after that movie ended.
Yeah, I'm glad I stayed too.
And it gets to it pretty quick. The first credit rolls, and you might hit 2 credits, throw up, and then it goes right in the mid-credit scene.
Yeah, they probably knew, okay, this movie's not as good as we thought. Let's put this quickly before people start walking out. So the end credit scene, Venom and Eddie, they're laying in the bed watching Telemundo or something.
Telemundo.
Yeah, in the Bahamas or whatever resort. And Eddie starts asking Venom about, are you holding any secrets? And Venom says, I have thousands of secrets from where I came from. So Venom says, your tiny brain can't contain these secrets. Eddie says, "Whatever, try me." So Venom says, "Okay," and you see things starting to happen in Eddie's brain.
He opens his mind
Yeah.
to the hive, and if you've read the current comic books, there's this hive of symbiotes out there in the universe. So then they're all connected to each other. So he opens his mind to the hive, and then there's a big flash of light, right?
Yeah, so I think they got cut off because there was a big flash of light from the window. And
so Venom is reaching out to something through the universe, to his hive mind or whatever, and there's a big old flash of light, and our characters are in a hotel room. They were in a hotel room in the Caribbean.
Get to the damn.
I know.
I like the details.
Get to the.
All right, fine.
They were in a hotel room.
All right.
I was really holding.
Hold on.
I'm like, Jesus.
The curtains.
It's literally
the curtains in the hotel room. Would you shut the fuck up?
So wait, they were in a hotel room, right?
They were in a hotel room. Now, in the minibar, there is.
Oh my God.
Okay, all right. I get it.
A bottle of Jameson.
Jesus Christ.
It was 3 years old.
You don't have an eye for the scene.
It was turned 90 degrees to the left.
Yeah, all right. So there's a big flash of light when he asks about the other symbiotes, and the hotel room they're in is in the Caribbean or whatever, somewhere in the South. And he gets dropped into a nicer hotel room. Like it's like his environment
like
has
the whole room
changed.
just changes.
Yeah, he's like, so the idea is like he's in a different place, but it's the same place. The TV's on. It was night, now it's day. The TV's on. He goes up to the TV, and it's your J. Jonah Jameson talking about Spider-Man, and you get Tom Holland on the TV.
Thank you.
And you got Venom says this guy, some familiarity with him, but not necessarily anything else. And he licks the image of Tom Hardy, and then kind of ends there. There's a joke at the end, but it's stupid. But the idea basically is that he's been transported to the MCU.
Nice. Okay. Thank you. Jeez. I just want you guys to say that he can just say, I know, like, goodness, that was a huge relief.
Holy
that now so any circus.
Well, there's more to talk about too in that scene.
He went to
there's more.
So Eddie Brock went to the front counter.
I mean,
he counted out $20, but he wanted some change.
Like you guys literally went scene by scene. I was like, holy shit.
It was basically Ed explaining the damn thing.
Yeah.
It's because it's a big deal. So,
but I'm saying like,
well, I mean, there's when he was reaching out to the hive mind, my expectation was that they were going to show null. They were going to show, So I mean, there's specific wording in what he was saying. So what Ed Underground was trying to describe is what, his thinking in the scene, in which I also shared, that you're going to reach out, you're going to see null, and we're going to, they're going to get to play null. That's going to be your big third Venom villain, who's going to fight after Carnage. But of course he ends up in the MCU. So the idea is that the big flash of light is him crossing over the multiverse. There's a lot of ideas that it's Doctor Strange. That's what Doctor Strange, that moment he does that is the moment we'll see in the movie where that's the thing that brings Venom to that universe, is this thing that brings Doc Ock and Green Goblin. All those, they all have the same experience. All those villains that are coming to one place. So we kind of seen it. We've seen it from one character's perspective already. So anyways, Venom is now in the MCU.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the big thing I was talking about with Andy Serkis. Before Venom was actually available to be watched, he did say that Venom will fight. We'll see Spider-Man in the MCU, and this is before Venom came out. So I'm glad that there is actually a payoff for that. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of not happy with No being, if he's the next big guy. There are other symbiotes that can possibly be a build up to it. So that's where I'm just kind of like, do we really want him? Because he's really if you're looking in the symbiote universe, he is the final boss.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, if you go with him, like, granted, I mean, I don't think of Venom being
This is the Dragon Ball Z problem.
Yeah, I don't want Venom to be a 10 series movie where he fights literally every symbiote out there, anti-venom and so forth. But he's going through every symbiote that he can fight, and then he finally gets to know. I mean, granted, I know there's a point where you gotta stop, and you don't want to bore people out. But I find that to be weird if they do go to him being the next supervillain in this series, and I'll be really upset if he gets destroyed in one movie. Or they fight him in one movie and somehow stop them. It feels weird. I rather Venom and Spider-Man meet, and it seems like, because of course I like to ruin everything for myself. I did watch the end credits trailer, so it is cool that they seem like they did something kind of with the multiverse, possibly.
Wait, you saw this scene already?
Yeah, it's on YouTube, dude.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah, I'm horrible, man. So yeah, I was like, I'm pretty much I'm that person, just like, yeah, go fuck me. I'll just go.
Yeah, you are the worst.
I am the worst.
Jump off a bridge.
Yeah, I'm horrible.
What is the point of all that?
Yeah, no. The point of all that was.
Thanks for directing that movie, jackass. Yeah. Call me when it's on YouTube, and only the last 2 minutes. Screw you, casting crew.
Didn't I did that with Shang-Chi.
You did that with Shang-Chi too?
No. Remember I was supposed to go see it, and then I found out
this guy's out of control.
It's going to HBO in November. I'm just like, guess I'm gonna wait until it comes out on HBO. I'm not gonna spend no money for it if I don't have to.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, the only thing, like, it seemed like they did something cool with the multiverse, possibly, and pushing Venom into the MCU. So I think that's pretty awesome.
There was also a major development also that we didn't mention at Underground. I don't know if you caught it. There's another character in the movie, Shriek.
Yeah.
So she's from the comics, and she's in Maximum Carnage. She's the one who can yell, has a high-pitched scream, and that really messes with the symbiotes.
Yeah.
And she's like Venom's or Carnage's girlfriend. She's in the movie. She's in that same capacity. But the main thing that I took away from that was she specifically mentions that she has a mutation.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't describe it as anything else. She says her mutation. And it's the first time that they've said mutation in an MCU related series.
Yeah, but that was Sony still. So
not anymore.
Not
anymore. It's very much up in there.
They're sharing it at this point, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, Sony and Marvel have already, from what I understood, they've already discussed it, and they already said that they're willing to share Spider-Man within both universes, and that I think Marvel and Disney is going to direct it, but they're going to share the license as far as Venom. The same Venom that we currently know will be part of the MCU now.
Well, I think if Sony decides that we don't want to be part of this, they have an easy out now. Oh, well, we'll go back to our own universe. They literally can do that.
That is true.
Yeah. And that's kind of Marvel's own making. So,
I mean,
they might have fucked themselves.
But let's be honest. Who do you think is going to make a better Venom? Marvel or
Marvel.
Sony? Exactly.
Marvel.
I think the Sony can do it. I think they just haven't gotten their shit together. And I think because Spider-Man was in this MCU deal and they wanted to get a Venom movie, they couldn't do it right. So they couldn't get the relationship going and the development and the payoff. So now they have an established Venom, which people like. They have an established Spider-Man, which people like. Thank you very much, Disney, for doing all the heavy lifting for us. Everyone loves this guy. Bye. Click. And they have their own universe ready to go, and they have a perfect out. So, I mean, if they want to, I think they have a lot of power.
I don't think a lot of people like Venom, actually. I just think if it wasn't for Tom Hardy, I don't think this franchise, if you call it a franchise, these Venom movies would be good. I don't know.
I disagree. I think people do like this Venom. I think that's why has the mannerisms he has. People
I just don't
like him.
The goofy buddy cop.
I think that there is some brilliance in that idea. That I know that we don't like that Venom, but I think there's
a bunch of times in the comics. Yeah, he hasn't always been the straight character that you think he is.
Yeah,
I know that, but from the beginning, though,
he's known for being the more straight character. Is what you're saying? Like, he does have that ability to be goofy.
Yeah.
Somebody decided to market him a little more goofy, a little more PG-13, and
Family friendly, yeah.
family friendly, and more jokey in his behaviors with Eddie Brock. And hey, it works. I mean, they got to sell toys, they got to sell franchises, and somebody knows what they're doing.
Look at it from this point of view. They have Morbius coming out very soon, which is being directed by Sony. So I believe that they don't have much of a choice to. I think with Venom, they had to go with a more family friendly approach to get started. After that point, with Morbius, you can maybe be because Morbius looks a little bit more serious than Venom did, or Venom does. But we don't know. We might get in there, and then Jared Leto might be the goofy Morbius, and might be all jokes and all fun games and blah blah blah. We don't know, so we'll see what happens. But I feel like this Venom works for the universe of what it is, and
so subtle.
Keep going.
So
I can't type stuff.
Yeah. So
I got you. And I think I know what you're saying, Creamcast. I think we're both simpatico on that.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. I'm just mind blown by how. Okay, I'm gonna keep my comments myself.
Yeah.
I'll tell you later.
No, you just told. Never mind. Anyways, yeah, I feel like
you broke his brain.
Yeah, you freaking broke my brain. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Venom works for the universe as is. I think it's a good. It's not the Venom that we know from the comic books per se, but it works for movies. And we always gotta remember that. Like
better than Spider-Man 3 Venom.
Yeah, better than Spider-Man 3 Venom.
Well, Spider-Man 3 Venom was introduced as a villain. This Venom is introduced as a hero. There's a different approach.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I haven't seen the second one, but comparatively, we have Venom and Carnage.
I don't even think he's an anti-hero. He doesn't do anything much anti-hero in this movie.
Doesn't. No.
Right. What I'm saying is that
he's all talk.
Well, you say he's not the hero, but he's eating possibly good people per se. They're bad guys, but
he's one person.
I'm talking even the first movie.
The first movie, does he eat people?
Yeah, he
I think he does, right?
But they're bad guys. So it's like,
all right.
But do you see Spider-Man, like, the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, zipping along and then, stinging people with his spider sting, going to kill mode and killing people? I don't know. But it works. I think ultimately Venom works for what it is. And I think it's good. The medium of a comic book does not necessarily translate well into a movie, into a film. So like, Thor from the comic books is not the same Thor that we're getting in the movies. Like think of like Thor, Love and Thunder, not Love and Thunder, Ragnarok. Ragnarok. That Thor, is at least from the early Thor comic books. That was not the Thor that you had. Thor was super serious all the time, all about justice and fighting and so forth. Not this goofy guy. Now I know that later Thor iterations became a little bit more goofier and so forth, but sometimes the medium doesn't mix well in different mediums. So I think it works. I think it's fine. I think it's something that, if we didn't have this Venom, we probably would never have a Venom. So it is what it is. I think
this Venom is closer to the Venom that I want than we've had. So it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah. I feel bad for Sam Raimi. That's all. I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Because he did an article recently and he was talking about how bad he got shit on for Spider-Man 3. He was like, I thought I would never make another, first a superhero movie, but I think he meant more like he'll never make another movie again because of how bad it did. So
he never wanted to add Venom to that movie. They forced him to do it.
Yeah, I know Venom was a last minute thing. It sucked. You could tell that Venom should not have been in that movie, but it is what it is.
But I think Venom needs to be rated R. I just think so. I do like this Venom more than the Spider-Man 3 Venom, but just the facial CGI of Venom and Tom Hardy. Like, my Venom, I want that spider on his chest. I want that origin. That's what I want. And that might happen in.
But that doesn't have anything to do with it being rated R, though.
Well,
Yeah, that's kind of true. You're like,
I mean,
Aspire
for
and
like
Trust
for
is
like
gonna be-
Carnage.
I think
For
you
You're
just
Carnage.
talking
want
about violence, right? You want more violence.
yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's Carnage. Like I'm
For Carnage,
expecting more
yes, you're right
violence,
about
yeah.
Carnage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Carnage does not in my mind it's an NC-17 movie. So it's
Wow.
like
Yeah,
I mean,
Oh,
you're not messing
really?
around with Carnage. He's like, yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
feel
Should be.
that the relationship between Cassidy and I forgot the girl's name? Did you feel like any Joker Harley Quinn vibes between the two?
Yeah, I mean that's clearly what they're going
They're
for
trying to,
there.
yeah, I felt that a lot. And also, wasn't a big fan of the actor who played Cassidy. Not
Woody
really.
Harrelson?
Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, I think he's a
Mm.
good actor, but I don't think he was the right cast for Carnage. That's just my opinion.
I'll agree with you that I think Woody, he's a good actor, and I think he brought something interesting to Cletus Cassidy. But I felt like she should have gone younger and more.
Crazy.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to say crazy, but more. There's a like a carefreeness with youth that Woody
Yeah.
Harrelson doesn't have anymore that he used to have,
Yeah.
and that's what I think Cletus Cassidy's more of like a fuck the world, live, what's the saying? Live fast, die young.
YOLO
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, YOLO, or you live fast, die young. The embodiment of that is Cletus Cassidy. So I always imagined a young, person, and like I said, I always imagined Carnage as very much a child.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing. How did he get a haircut?
From his
If you
carrot top.
notice, in the teaser, he had like an afro type hair, and in the movie, it's
Well, I
way
imagine
shorter.
he got a haircut from a barber.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
solve that mystery.
oh.
Yep, there you go.
Mystery.
Send him my way.
So,
Send him my way.
and he would have got away with it if it wasn't for Darkseid giving away the secrets. Jeez. Mind blowing. See, the funny thing is, the reason why Ed doesn't know about haircuts, he hasn't cut his hair in like 6 months. I mean, so it makes sense. Ed
My
not understanding
barber
haircut.
has been missing, and then when he came back, he was charging $60 for haircuts.
Ed, that's not the reason why you decided to keep your hair long.
Oh no, I intentionally got my hair long. Then when I saw he was charging $60 when he came back, like nah. But then I thought, okay, what if I just do something different to my hair? So there you go. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna just let my hair grow out. No, he disappeared during the whole lockdown thing. And then after everything's
There are
opened
other
up.
barbers out there.
Yeah,
Okay, so there's a thing here.
mind blown. Mine is blown. He's like, wait. He's like, holy shit, really?
No, there's a thing here. It. All right, how about this Creamcast? Do you just go to any barber, or do you go to the same barber that you for quite a while?
I'm probably the wrong person to ask. I cut most of the time, majority of the time, I cut my own hair.
Okay.
When I don't cut my own hair, I go to any barber. I pick a barber and I find a barber and I go to them relatively inconsistently, but I go to any barber that's available that has high ratings. I use an app called Booksy.
Why did you only ask Creamcast about that?
Well, let's be real, Dark
Oh,
Side.
because you have.
Yeah,
a
why don't we
shitty
be
haircut.
real?
You go
Because
to
you have a
you go
shitty
to-
haircut.
Yeah, you have a shitty haircut. Your beard is uneven. You looking dusty. No, you go to Great
Wow.
Clips. You go to Great Clips.
What?
I do go to Great Clips.
Yeah,
I do
you
go to Great Clips.
And I'm sorry, you're gonna have a nice lady who's probably not of African American descent, like probably Ed would feel comfortable going to.
She is a white woman, if you
Yes.
will.
Yes, and what is gonna happen is she's gonna pull out scissors to cut out Afro Latino hair like Ed's, and she is going to give him the Caesar, which is literally gonna put like a bowl on top of his head and just go click, 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 and then dust it off, and then boom, $20. Can't beat that.
No.
But, that's not gonna work for Ed.
Yep. Well, I mean, I don't know what Ed Underground's going to do. I assume the hair is going to grow so long that I don't know what's going to happen. That hat won't be able to contain it.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
like Venom. It's gonna stretch out everywhere.
He's gonna look like one of the Jackson 5, just with the big old puffy hair.
Or like Undercover Brother, when he took out his hat and the fro popped out. Yeah, I mean,
Oh my
and
goodness.
I'm not gonna lie, but I feel like how I look at Ed. I feel like I'm not gonna say it. Never mind.
I don't even know.
It feels. I feel like Ed is gonna grow his hair out, and I feel like it's just nothing but like untamed pubes on his head. Like it's just crunchy.
No,
it's just crunchy hair.
No,
it's just it's tamed by the hat, but when he pulls it out, it just looks like unkept pubes. It's gonna be bushy, tangled
just
up,
all uneven.
It's gonna be weird. So for some reason,
it's very tame. I just have a hat on. So.
Oh, I mean, hey, dude, I'm not one to judge. If I could wear hats, I would absolutely wear hats too. I can't wear hats.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
He does look cool. He's got some cool like.
Oh, you can actually see through the leg too.
Yeah, I thought some
you can
cool
see the
stuff.
bone inside.
Yeah, and the shield's got like blood spatter and like.
Damn.
Nice.
All kinds of mess on there.
Gets all the cool toys.
Yeah, he does.
For real.
He's pretty cool. And I think in the What If episode, by the way, I thought it was pretty cool how they paid kind of like the homage to Winter Soldier becoming
the zombies.
Yeah, the zombies when Winter Soldier got the cap shield. And it's kind of like pays homage to that. I kind of like that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So, but yeah, so Venom, I look forward to watching it next week.
Me too.
Hopefully I can add a little bit more to the conversation next week about Venom and so forth. I'm excited to see what it. I mean, my expectation was low beforehand, and just because Andy Serkis is directed it, I don't really care.
My expectation is low because of the reviews that both of our fellas here.
Yeah. Mine was low beforehand. That I really didn't go into this thinking like, oh my god, some people mind blown. I think it's honestly because of Marvel. I think Marvel, even with like Marvel movies now, it's set kind of with a high standard, but at the same time, I just kind of know what to expect of comic book movies at this point. So. Okay. Oh, you know what? Fuck out Green Chair. And then you can say some shit. He's
in progress.
He's like, the Marvel fanboy here. Of course, Marvel does everything correct. I know you want to say that. So yeah, shut up. Just go. No, go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it. Let's get it out.
No, that's fine. I didn't say anything. You're kissing my microphone. Get the man kissing microphone.
I swear, my microphone must say Marvel's ass, and I must be making love to it every time I talk to it. Wow. That's what Green Turner thinks I do every time I talk about Marvel. From now on, just to be a contrarian, I'm just gonna be like, Marvel's absolute shit. Marvel, nothing, they can do nothing right.
Wait, no, but it's true.
Creamcast does
they've been on point. Marvel has been on point compared to what DC. Too much of my
DC is non-existent, so I mean the fact that they're not even we're not even talking about DC. So
go ahead.
At least Marvel's trying.
All right, I'm sorry, cut off Edward.
I was just going to ask, do they pay you in money or in cheese? What does the mouse give you?
Oh, because of the mouse.
Oh my!
Is that a Speedy Gonzalez joke too?
Right,
what the fuck?
No.
Fucked up.
I think it was.
Been potting for too long.
Yeah.
His brain's starting to rot already.
Yeah, his brain has rotted already.
Exactly.
His brain's been rotted.
Never
did we the level of joke that you just brought in.
It's from the jokes from the Venom movie. Yeah.
Really?
I don't recall that at all.
Yeah,
No.
this is the same Ed that you gotta take Ed with a grain of salt. This is the same Ed that believed that there was lesbian sex scenes within Masters.
Yeah, he's what he wants to
words
see.
have never been spoken out of my mouth. So
Yeah, yes, you did.
Did we discuss the Hawkeye trailer?
I didn't know there was a
No.
Hawkeye trailer.
I don't think so.
I've seen it. I never discussed it.
It came out when I was on
which-
vacation, so I think y'all did actually. Maybe I don't remember.
I don't remember talking about it, but keeping in the theme of Marvel and what they're doing, and how they're trying to keep things fresh and relevant and different. The Hawkeye trailer came out, and it's a Christmas movie. That's the theme they decided to go with, and it feels like Die Hard, and I love it. I'm in.
I just hope it's good. Wait, isn't it going to be on Disney Plus?
It's not a movie; it's a limited series. But
yeah.
yeah, limited series. But the theme of it is definitely Die Hard.
Yeah.
This is basically Christmas, and he's getting his ass kicked, and he's kind of on his own. And it's an action movie with a buddy cop element with Kate Bishop, and it looks real good to me. Again, like they could just make a run-of-the-mill series like Hawkeye, but they decided to do something a little bit different. And I think that's what someone at Marvel is figuring out. We can't just make a low-key series. It has to be more relevant than that. We can't just do Scarlet Witch. It has to, like, there has to be something that bite to it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. Moon Knight's coming. So that's also, I'm going to see how they package Moon Knight.
Bipolar or his,
bipolar is just the beginning of his like psychosis. Yeah, he's a man who should not be a hero, but we'll see.
It'd be cool if Keanu Reeves can play Moonlight.
Well, they got Oscar Isaac. They got a perfect actor for the role.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a good actor. So I'm looking for.
He's
I'm
actually
looking for
great.
Yeah, Moon Knight. I'm not gonna lie. It's just one of those. That's one of the things I never thought they would actually make a show off.
Yep.
But here we are. I mean, it's a great time to be alive. I'm not gonna lie.
You know what I would love to see is a Ronin movie, but that's not going to happen.
That would be something. That had to be rated. It would have to be rated R for sure. Ronin is a pretty dark character, so yeah, you never know. You could see that in the future, but I doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I mean, I think you might see Ronin in the future.
Yeah, me too.
Well, they kind of allude to it a little bit.
In the
Hawkeye trailer.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I mean, but like you said, the trailer is definitely Die Hard feeling.
Yeah,
and very kind of actiony, comedy, comic-y at the same time. So I mean, you're probably not gonna get Ronin out of that, but you never know in the future. You know, as far as like a darker series, I could definitely see that happening. Will they go rated R? I highly doubt it though. That's kind of like with Daredevil, you know, like people want Daredevil to come back, and
Daredevil Netflix series was awesome.
Yeah, as I said, they wanted to come.
I mean,
back.
he's in it. So Charlie Cox, who plays Matt Murdock, is in. I believe he's going to be Peter Parker's attorney in the next movie. In what is it called? No Way Home.
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he is Peter's attorney, and in No Way Home, and I'm excited to see how that turns out. So he's back. Charlie Cox is back in the MCU as Matt Murdock. So who knows? We cross our fingers.
But you know what we're still missing to this day, and it's still is continuing to piss me off. Even though I know they're coming out with the She-Hulk series. Why don't we have a new Hulk movie? I'm kind of annoyed.
It's hard. They've tried it, but it's just hard to make it stick as a solo movie.
I mean, I still think The Incredible Hulk was really good. I enjoyed it tremendously.
Liked it too.
Yeah, like the Hulk, and you know how we're talking about like movies with great like action sequences. Like I thought the Hulk versus Abomination at the end was great. It was good for its time, and it was, you know, especially with kicking off the MCU, it was really really good. And I just wish we had another Hulk movie. Yeah, all these obscure comic book movies coming out, but then who, you know, granted Hulk was the first one to get a movie out of all the Avengers, but still it's like, why can't we get another good Hulk movie out of that? I don't care who we have as Bruce Banner. I don't care if it has to be part of the MCU, but we just need another Hulk movie. I don't want Planet Hulk. I understand that's a lot. That's a lot to do that. There's a lot of buildup to even create that Planet Hulk series. But something.
Well, they did that. They had that opportunity with Ragnarok. That's what Planet Hulk would have been.
Right. That would have been the perfect time to do it. But
they could do World War Hulk, which is the events following Planet Hulk.
Right. They could, but I mean, will they? Probably
not. No, that'll mess up everything. What they're doing right now with the MCU, it's too late for that.
It's too late. He's right.
Well, is it too late though? Because they could do something with the multiverse.
They could. Yeah,
they could.
True.
Yeah, in a separate timeline.
Yeah, they could do it.
Yeah,
so.
There's stuff for Hulk that they could definitely do. It's in their boat or whatever. You know, whoever makes the decisions over at Big Disney.
Yeah, well,
you're not the only one.
Yeah, I'm assuming Kevin Feige, but you know, it's kind of like we talked before. It's a Superman story. You can't have the Hulk. I mean, if you have a story with the Hulk, you can't. The Hulk is not going to die. Obviously, you know that the Hulk, nothing's going to really bad happen to him. He's always going to come back. So,
well, I mean, it's funny you mentioned that because I just recommended Immortal Hulk to Green Tuner, and in that it's you're meeting the Hulk after he has died and has been resurrected. And there's something about this new Hulk. He's more connected to the afterlife, and hell specifically plays a big part in this version. Yeah. He's more monstrous in this comic book run than I've ever seen him. Like, he's a villainous monster, and he's smart and he's aware. So you could take it in some interesting directions.
Is this a series where he gets his power from the devil or from hell?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Because I know there's one comic series where he, the gamma rays is actually power from hell. Like, it's the same origin.
Yeah, I think this is that same idea. Because, and I don't want to say too much because Green Tuner's reading.
Yeah, I'm still reading it.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Wow, good job, Ed.
Yeah.
He got it from heaven. He got it from heaven. Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah, he's heaven sent. But it's interesting. So you could go in some different directions with Hulk for sure.
Nice. All right. Well, I mean, Marvel can do no wrong, and Marvel's the greatest thing ever. And
hopefully, this episode will be uploaded within relevant time to the movie.
It'll definitely be on Twitch and YouTube within like the time frame, like last time.
Okay. That's not a yes, but
that's
kind of a fuck you.
That's the best,
pretty much.
That's the best answer, non-answer. That's a non-answer answer that Ed could give. So we'll take that. We can take what we can. Other than that, any other cool topics you guys want to discuss before we probably transition out?
Not really.
No, I think we're set for this week.
Yeah. Eventually, we're going to have to talk about one big thing that we're going to talk about in the future is, our very own the Ed Underground going through the Halo beta. We'll definitely want to get his take on Halo, since I mean, we can all talk about it because we've all had to struggle watching get constantly sniped, shot, killed.
And anyone that's listening
by me
can look up Ed's Twitch channel.
Yeah, the Ed Underground at Twitch TV, and if you like death simulators and watching spectates, the Ed Underground's Twitch channel is by far the best thing that you can watch. So the greatest thing about and the thing is, if you watch it in black and white, then your dog can watch it too, and your dog will be entertained for hours because it's non-stop death scenes. Like, I kind of wish that would happen. They can make it black and white for the spectate scenes, because I really would want like my animals to like watch it and be like entertained, because all they're gonna see is black and white. So really great gameplay. If you don't want to watch them play, that's the perfect channel to watch and play. So, but other than that, I guess that's all. But entertainment stuff, nerd stuff, we gotta talk about this week. So, I guess with that, Ed, ready to take us out?
Indeed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 18 of the Blurred Podcast. You can find us on all major platforms and on twitch.tv/the Blurred Podcast. Catch you later.
Blur you later.
Blur you later.
Why
don't you ever say blur you later?
Yeah, we're trying to make t-shirts here. I don't understand.
We're literally trying to.
And he's outro.
Yeah, he's outro. What a jerk.
Oh my god.
We're still
So
live.
you think you'll be able to upload this with the time that we have?
Yes.